The following program is made possible with the support of
BB&T, best bank in town since 1872. Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza. Cookout, hamburgers, hot dogs, and great milkshakes. ESPN 630 AM, Wilmington's all sports station. And Sunny 104.5, Wilmington's best mix while you work.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week 6 of the high school football season. And for 3 of our area teams, it's the opening weekend of conference play, and all 4 teams are home this week. Welcome to Sports Roundtable. Let's take a look at action from last week, and we'll start over at Legion Stadium. Kevin Motzinger alongside, and you knew it was a buzzsaw coming in, and you had to bring your A game, and they came in and showed you why they're number 2 in 4A.
No doubt. They got an outstanding football team. Coach Bailey does a great job. We always joke, you take every football player in Wilmington and we'd all be a lot smarter coaches, but they're a better football team than we are right now, and they proved it Friday night.
Okay. Quarterback is exceptional.
Oh, I was proud of our kids watching Southern Durham film and the films we had on him. He took 194 yards against Southern Durham, and if Southern Durham kids couldn't catch him, I knew our kids couldn't catch him. And, I don't think he had a run. His longest run was 8.5 yards. We did a good job of slow death. And I told the defensive coaches, we were going to try to keep them, eliminate the big play, especially in the running game. I felt like in the running game we did that. Unfortunately, in the passing game, they got 3 on us that we kind of went to sleep, wasn't doing our job, and wanted to try to come help with the run. But if you're going to die, you'd rather have slow death, and that way you can tell your family and loved ones you love them, and maybe have a good steak. And so that was we got to eat a lot of steak Friday night, and slow death.
Okay, let's take a look at the game tape if we can. Scotland County coming in 42-13 the final as we go to the tape, and we're underway.
First possession, we wasn't kicking to them, that's for sure. If we couldn't stop the kid from Purnell Sweat, I knew we couldn't stop any one of their kids back there, so we pop-kicked it. They marched it down there. We end up stopping them, and we come back, moved the football, but that was the end of it. Then they got the ball back and punched it in, and then punched it in again. This is later on. This is the second quarter. We're still in the game right now. We're down 14, and we're moving the football, but we got down there, and they stopped us on 4th down. And, we felt like going in that they were 7 to 10 points better than us. And I think our kids, when it was 14-0, we kind of put our head down. And when you put your head down against a team like that, then they're going to knock you out. And that was the thing that frustrated us as coaches. And it just, I hate to keep saying it, but a lot of times our inexperience is raising its head and showing itself. And that we've got to grow up. And that's the biggest thing that we talked about in the locker room afterwards. And, we talk more about life than we do football, whether people believe that or not. But, in life, if you put your head down when you're down 14-0, you're definitely going to be divorced, and you don't need to have children. Right here towards, I guess I don't know if it's 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, but we got Rome Murphy, moved him in at tight end, and from being out wide, and I guess this 3rd quarter. And they forgot to cover him, so we were able to take advantage of that, punch one in. They kept on attacking, and our kids, we had a lot of kids that really fought to the end, but we've got to get all our kids fighting to the end. And it's one of those things in football that, you want to go help your brother. You want to go help your brother instead of do your job. And there was a lot of times that ended up costing us. Right here, Jonathan Jarman, I tell you, a sophomore that we end up pulling up after the scrimmages. He has tremendous ball skills. We just got out of the weight room. He was just finished. We had 85% an AMAP set on cleans, and you'd like to see those kids get 5 or 6, and he just did 13 and really got after it. And we have a lot of high expectations for that young man. Ron Murphy again laying out, and we weren't sure if we were going to have him. He actually left in the ambulance Monday at practice. He ended up being just a stinger, and he was perfectly fine, but we had a scare that, had a little pain running towards his neck. We didn't take no chance, but he ended up having a good game, probably his best game of the year.
4 catches, 96 yards on the day.
Yeah. At times, defensive line, we came off the ball and we did what we were supposed to, and at other times they hit us in the mouth and put us on our back like they're supposed to. And we've got to get more of the other. And right here, we got the backups in, Burke Estes throwing it, and got some sophomore kids we feel really good about. And he stepped in and got a lot of touches. Right here, we got backups in, and so do they. And so that looks good on the highlights, and everybody's like, well, daggum. But that's not their starters, and we've got a lot of our backup kids, a bunch of sophomores. We actually used 5/8 quarter spots on JV kids. We decided to play them, see what they could do. We've already pulled up a bunch of kids from JV, and we may pull up some more. We'll just see.
Okay, you still have one more non-conference game,
Yep.
Lumberton at home. A chance maybe for this group to rebound and show a little maturity.
Well, the biggest thing for us, and we've said all year long, our kids right now, the way we are as a whole, we can't focus on who we're playing. We got to focus on us. We're making too many mistakes. We'll do a great job in practice, but then you get under the lights and all of a sudden, just like the other night, we got safeties wanting to come bite on a run and give up a deep ball. And for us to go as far as we want to go, you can't make those mistakes. We would rather deal with slow death than those big hitters.
Okay. Health-wise, after 4 weeks, I know you're banged up a little bit.
We lost 3 kids defensively Friday night. We'll find out today. One I feel like is probably done for the year. The other 2 may end up having to get scoped. But we got 3 kids banged up, and we end up losing them in the first half. And that also took its toll mentally on us defensively. When you see those guys that you're counting on go down, and you got other guys that step up. But that's life. When something goes up, the hill's still there. People still want us to take it, and the hill's not moving. We got to keep climbing and keep attacking.
And the next step will be this coming Friday at home, Legion Stadium. Lumberton in town, 7:30 kickoff. New Hanover and Lumberton. The Wildcats will come in at 2-2. When we come back, we'll swing over to Ashley. Stay with us. Well, I mentioned 3 of our area teams will open conference play this week. One of them, Ashley, home this week against South Brunswick. And I know, Coach, one of our guests will be one of the people we can be watching on Friday night.
Right, this is Frankie Keller. Frankie starts the center and defensive tackle for us. He's been a 4-year starter at Ashley, and we're real proud of everything he's accomplished, and he's a very fine young man.
2-year captain as well. You play both offense and defense. Which one do you like better?
Definitely offense, just because you kind of control where the ball's going, and you gotta know your assignment and can lead a little bit more.
Okay. Conditioning-wise, I mean, if you're deep into the third quarter, starting the fourth quarter, you've been out there, practically for every snap. What's it like versus, obviously, we're in an area where it's hot in the summer and things like that. How's that play into your game?
Definitely being in shape and getting conditioned and staying hydrated throughout the day definitely plays in, and especially when it comes the end of the third and early of the fourth, you got to dig down and keep going.
Coach, as a player, tell us a little bit, what's it like to coach him?
Oh, he's a pleasure to coach. Frankie always is on time. He's always, you need something done, you can say, Frankie, these guys need to pick this up, and he takes care of it. He's a coach's dream as far as the deal with. If I had a few more of him, we might be able to scare a little bit of Laney's and the Hoggards and the New Hanovers. But he's done a great job for us because he calls everything on the offensive line. We try and go and scheme through things that we want to try and do against people, but they'll move around and aren't going to line up exactly the way you plan. And then Frankie's able to see it and make a lot of adjustments, and just his overall leadership and the way the young men look up to him.
Talk a little bit about that, because with the offense that you run, your blocking schemes, your zone blocking is a little different from some traditional offenses. Talk a little bit about the adjustments you've had to make.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot different. Just knowing who the reads are and who to block and who not to block, and then having to make adjustments on what front and how many linebackers are. But the biggest difference is for us is getting off the ball and sustaining our blocks.
2-2 so far this year, and again, your opening conference play. Talk a little bit about the expectations for this group and what it's been like for, you've seen the 4-year growth of this program.
Yeah, definitely the expectations, even with the new conference, we just hope to do our best and know we're playing good teams every week. And then the growth is, it might not show up on the scoreboard or the record all the time, but definitely headed in the right direction.
You've had, I know, a couple different coaches in different sports. Talk a little bit about the difference maybe that you've seen in Ashley as a freshman, and now all of a sudden you realize in the next couple of weeks you'll be playing your last football games for the program.
Just as a freshman coming in, not realizing how quickly it's going to go by and how much effort you really want to give. And then now as a senior, wishing you could start it all over again, but definitely enjoying it.
Frankie, we hear a lot about what high school athletics mean to you outside of the football field. How has athletics, whether it be your football, your basketball at Ashley, helped you as a student, helped you as an individual as you get ready for the next stage?
Well, sports just in general keep kids out of trouble, and then it's like gives you an idea of accountability with your teammates, and that's the same thing in the classroom. Also doing what you're supposed to at practice, you got to do the same thing in the classroom, and then we just hold each other to a standard and just be positive.
Two-year captain, talk a little bit about the leadership that he brings to your program.
Well, I think the young men having chose him as the captain tells you what they see too. And we have 4 or 5 guys we have as captains, but Frankie's been it for 2 years, so I think that speaks well what they see, and I think that's more important maybe how his teammates see him as a leader as compared to maybe just coaches. Sometimes coaches see players in a different light, so I think that speaks well of it. And one thing I'm proud of too is a young man to have a 4.2 GPA, not miss any days of school, that kind of stuff. It's just a kind of thing you really wish more young men were like, and so we're very pleased with his leadership on the football field, but also in our student body.
You've got a couple schools talking to you about possibly playing for him next year.
Yes, sir. I was at William and Mary this past weekend, and then talking a little bit with Campbell and Wofford and Western Carolina, and then also a Brown and Bryant, which is also in Rhode Island.
That's great. And obviously they're great scholastic schools as
Absolutely.
well. All right, let's go to football then. This coming Friday, you open conference play. You play South Brunswick. They've scuffled a little bit to begin with, but I know you've been focused on Ashley football right now. Talk a little bit about this game Friday.
Right, we've had a week to try and we went 3 days last week, and we tried to get some guys healthy and that kind of stuff. So I think we're ready. We were preparing for what we did know about South Brunswick, and they've changed a little bit in the latest films that we've seen. They've gone more from an eye to a spread team. They were 4-4, now they're running a little 4-3 mixed in with that. So they've changed some things up. Last year we lost to them in overtime, so hopefully this year maybe we can play a little bit better against them. But they got some good players, and I think they've struggled a little bit, but I think they'll be, going into conference, like I told our young men, we're all 0-0 at this point. So, I'm sure they'll want to win as bad as we want to win.
In the 30 seconds we have left, new conference alignment. Now all of a sudden the Brunswick schools are here. Do you like how close everyone is in the conference versus the travel that has been part of the past?
Oh, I think it's great, especially on Thursdays with your JV programs. Now you can get down there and try and see those young men play, and I think it's a great conference. And being a 3, they may see it different, but I don't think there's that much difference between talent levels.
Good stuff. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
And good luck no matter where you go next year, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you very
Again,
much.
home game for Ashley at home with South Brunswick, 7:30 kickoff. Again, 2 of 4 home games in the area this week. When we come back, we'll go over to Laney. Stay with us. Okay, let's turn our attention over to Hoggard. A big victory against Lumberton, 34-0, and Coach 4-1 through non-conference play. Yeah. Lumberton, you were able to run the ball effectively on the road.
Yeah, we really did. It was one of those games we had a lot of guys out, a lot of injuries, and so we wanted to try and keep the clock running and make it as short a possible game. We felt like with their offense, which is throwing it around, predominantly that we wanted to establish a good running game. We felt like we had a chance to do that, and so I was very pleased. Probably had hoped to get Kevin Thompson off the field a little bit sooner. He ran the ball a little bit more than we wanted him to. He's just trying to recover from ankle and collarbone and shoulder, and so tried to get him off the field as quickly as we could. He played the first 2 quarters, but I think he had, the paper said, 138 yards rushing, something like that. We were able to rotate our usual fullback in at tailback, Trevor Brown. I thought he did an outstanding job reading his blocks and making some plays on his feet, which I'm sure we'll see in the highlights. And so I was happy for him because he spent his career blocking for other people's touchdowns, and he finally got a chance to be in the limelight himself.
Okay, let's take a look at some of those highlights. Again, a big victory on the road, 34-0, and you mentioned your offense, your defense played well.
Yeah, defensively, Julius Reynolds had a great game. That's Julius kind of stopping a little quick screen. Here's Kevin. I guess our first drive. It's kind of a loft tackle deal. They're in like a 3-4 defense. We do a little speed option here. Kevin cuts it in and just outruns the backside safety and takes it in for a touchdown. That's early 7-0 lead. Defensively, I think our front's about as good as they come. That's Devin Bond and Malik Moore there. Tyler Beeson does a great job for us. Kyle Delaney sat out the game. There's Julius Reynolds again. Kyle had a hamstring he's trying to recover from. That's Austin Sean Lever to Randall Emerson. Nice catch, Randall. Unfortunately, we had a blocking miscue down there and had to settle for a field goal, but take a quick 10-0 lead. Again, great pressure there. There's Malik Moore coming off the edge here, Ty Berry and some guys. Sharon Cromartie, we end up getting a turnover. Come back, a little speed option again. And Keevan's able to take it down for what I think is first down yardage. You just got to continue to try and get him healthy. Austin keeps it this time and takes it down for another first down. I think at the change of the quarter now, we come out and do a little speed option the other way, and Keevan, I think, gets that in the end zone. I believe it's 17-zip at that point. Defensively, again, Hashim Michelle's playing some DN for us. He's been a linebacker, but with injuries, we've kind of moved him around. Here's a little kind of bubble screen type of thing to Randall, and he's able to get out there and run a little bit. Again, defensively, good job. There's Hashim almost making a pick there from his defensive end position, kind of spying. I think that's going to be Kirk Messick. Kirk had a pick 6 opportunity earlier and let it get away from him, but that one he got the interception, took it down, put us in good field position. Kirk's an outstanding athlete for us, senior strong safety. Here's Austin throwing a little screen back to Trevor Brown. I think we had a penalty here, and so we're trying to get out of a hole. Come back after that. I think this is a third down. It might even be fourth down. It's actually fourth down and 11. And go speed option again for a touchdown. So something we felt was there. We just kind of continued to come back to it. Again, great defense. Ty Berry, Sharon Cromartie, Julius Reynolds. There's Malik Moore, Hashim Michelle. They're making the stop. Again, defensively, I think we kept them under 100 total yards. Here's Austin, nice little move in the pocket, nice little play on his feet, throws the ball to Randall Emerson. Randall had 4 or 5 catches. Here's another pick. Julius Reynolds had 2 interceptions. I think this is right before the half. They had driven the ball a little bit, and Julius got us out of a bind there. I believe this is going to be third quarter action, if I'm not mistaken. Good pressure there from the front, forcing the quarterback to get rid of the ball quickly. We got some guys coming. You can see we're winning the battle up front. Again, the defensive line feel really good about. Here's a little speed option again. Trevor showing a little wiggle on his hips there. Didn't know he had that. A little burst of speed. Again, really happy for Trevor. I think he's going to take this one perhaps in for a touchdown. Kind of cuts it back and makes a couple guys miss and is able to take it in for a touchdown. I think we had Trevor at 96 yards rushing, which is great for him. There's Hashim Michelle. Great job, Hashim, from his defensive end position. Making a play on a little sweep, getting good pressure. There's Julius's second interception there. So Julius takes down, thought he might score there. Did a great job getting it down in position. We end up kicking a field goal. This is into the wind, so I was really proud. Landon Mays continues to do just a great job handling the kicking and punting duties for us. That was his second field goal of the evening. That might have been the final points for us. Good pressure there. Great coverage. That's kind of a coverage sack. Good coverage downfield. There we got some young guys in now, starting to play a little bit more. Tony Moore, Omar Jones, some young guys getting some reps in there. It was good to see. Here, I think that's Ethan Marsh, I believe. Kid, again, kind of some backups here at the end, getting some playing time.
Okay, you open conference play with
Yeah,
Topsail.
very important.
Do you? I was about to say that. I know as a coaching staff,
Yeah.
conference play there's a different focus.
Absolutely.
How do you portray that to a team coming out of non-conference?
You know, the big thing I think with non-conference, if you stub your toe, you know, you can still kind of feel like a lot of your goals are still out there in front of you.
Right.
When you get into conference, you're kind of playing for keeps. A little more life and death, especially when you're in a six-game conference schedule where you lose one game, you may cost yourself. So every game's critical, and hopefully, you know, the players will sense that and practice with a sense of urgency and focus and bring that intensity to practice. We've got some cool weather finally, so hopefully that'll carry over in the way we practice.
Okay, and again, that's 7:30
at our
at
place
home
yeah.
against a Topsail team that's new to the conference.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen him on film. You know, I think Coach is doing a great job. He got there late. I have confidence he's going to build a good program there. This is kind of a transition year for him, though, and we just got to show up ready to play.
And that's a 7:30 kickoff at Hoggard. And when we come back, we'll swing over to Laney. Stay with us. Our final stop is over at Laney. The Buccaneers will come into the first game of conference play against West Brunswick at 2-2. And Coach, you know, we talked about the build up to New Bern, and you know, sometimes it's one quarter that can just put you behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, that first quarter just kind of got away from us. We had a fumble, and you know, they had a quick play, and they ended up putting it in end zone quick, and they never looked back from there. We really didn't respond well after getting hit in the mouth the first time, and you know, we got to learn from that. We're very young and undisciplined at times in certain positions and stuff like that. But you know, I feel like this is the first week where we didn't make a step. You know, so hopefully our kids can respond and understand we're going into conference play, and we got to get better every conference game because we're going to get into some tougher opponents.
Yeah, I think you said the magic word, respond. I mean, you go into conference play,
Yeah.
you face a West Brunswick team that's struggling a little bit too. But having said that, you've got to come up and be ready on Friday.
Yeah, we have to play against ourselves most of the time. Like we're struggling with focusing on the other opponent. We really offensively just need to do what we're told to do, you know, and build that confidence each time. And you know, if we can eliminate some of the mistakes, you know, offensively, we can move the ball down the field and we can be successful. And defensively, you know, we just had some guys out of position at certain times here, and against the New Bern team, you find out those mistakes are magnified against a New Bern team. You're giving up, you know, 15, 20 yards a pop instead of, you know, against a Clinton where you're giving up, you know, 5, 10 yards when you make a mistake like that. And so it'll be a good week for our defense to go back to the drawing board, and also for our offense to try to get it going here.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the tape. This is Laney at New Bern this past weekend, and you mentioned speed. They've got some great speed on both sides.
Yeah, they definitely do. They come off the ball pretty quick, and this is Tyreek. We're putting this one in there. Just Tyreek really doing a good job here. This is early on, getting upfield on our counter action and getting some positive yards. We really did not have very many positive plays in the first quarter until we started throwing it around a little bit and went into some of our 5- and 7-step drop stuff. Did pretty well, and this is our freshman Amik doing a good job on the kickoff return, getting over to the side, and it's a long way to get over to that side, but we did a good job of getting there and getting out to the 40-yard line. And defense at times, they made big plays, but third down situations, they really got to us. They were able to convert on many third down situations, and our D-line, you know, did an okay job at certain times, then at other times they just weren't doing their responsibilities. But Colt there on a tackle, and you know, Colt had some great plays, and then some plays, you know, he just had his head down again. And that's the quarterback just kind of showing his athletic ability. He's been offered by NC State, making Colt kind of look bad there at a certain time when Colt coming back and getting the tackle. And defensively, just still flying around. It was a great job for all 4 quarters, just kind of flying and, you know, knowing your responsibilities. Kuntz there and on tackle, knowing what he needed to do at defensive end, and just bigger plays as it went along just kind of hurt us in big play situations.
I was going to say, as a teaching tool, looking at this game, what are some of the things that you can take from this game that'll help you get ready for Friday?
Yeah, the big thing will be our D-line playing discipline for our defense and knowing alignment and assignment. And understand that they didn't do anything that we didn't coach them and tell them that they were going to do. We were definitely scared of their punt return here, and our guys did a great job staying outside and flying to the football there because they're very dangerous on punt return. And Colt on another tackle and D-line doing a good job. Cole Deal in there doing a great job for us up front. And as you can see, Colt and then Sam Frank coming in there and Hunter Martin coming in there. Hunter got a little frustrated because he's getting blocked a little bit more than he's used to, but that happens against some good teams. And this is where we were actually most successful, when we were dropping Tyreek back and just giving him an ability to throw the ball, and if nothing is there to run. They were in some man-to-man coverage, so we hurt him sometimes here. And this Javon Batts out of the backfield, a little jet back play that we called, and Tyreek making his reads, doing a good job of getting rid of the football. And more teams are going to play us man-to-man, so we got to be able to do a better job against man-to-man and get open. And Maurice Miles on the corner making a good play here, working on the ball skills. Wish we were doing it with two hands, but not too bad of batting it away, and being in good position is what we teach on the corners. And this Tyreek just kind of going through a check here and making sure everybody's on the same page. And LeQuay actually ran a deeper route than he was supposed to, but built some confidence in this game for him. And he's our ex-receiver right now over on the side, and so he's done a great job for us, getting better every week. This is just our punt situation. Jack does a great job here, pinning them in the corner. We're worried about them getting a return, and that's no return at all. So we love those punt situations. And offensively, this the best. We really didn't have any positive running plays at all up front. Our O-line struggled a little bit mentally and physically and some different things, but when we spread the field out, it gives Tyreek opportunity to make some reads and make some good runs here. We worked draw a little bit this week, so that helped us out of our 80 stuff. And this is Jared Kelly. Had a tough game in the first half, dropped a few key passes, but you can tell he's still running hard. You have to run hard to be able to get that corner. He did a good job not quitting as a senior. We try to put the ball in our best players' hands, and we just came up a little short. Kelly did in the first half, but man, in the fourth quarter, he's still running hard, and that's exciting. Just kind of doing a little red activity, just seeing what they're in, checking what we want to be in, and Tyreek's eyes get off the receivers and go to try to get the first down. Does a great job of that, getting a first down, avoiding a big hit here. Actually, it looks like it came up a little short here. And then just a play that we ran a lot last year, just a little purple hitch. Just didn't have anybody to throw it to earlier in the year, but LeQuay's building into that role where we can threaten some people deep. And this is a play we put in this week, actually. And Jared Kelly did a good job of, after, like we said earlier, dropping some passes, and came back and made that touchdown, and proud of him for sticking it out in there.
Okay, number one focus for practice this week as you get ready for West?
Just discipline, just really discipline, and we have to follow through and do what we're told to do, because big game situations, you got to do a better job. And if we're not coming out in the first quarter crisp, we're in trouble. Okay.
West Brunswick again at Laney, 7:30 kickoff. Laney, Hoggard, Hanover, and Ashley all home this week. 7:30 kickoffs. A full Friday evening of football for you here in New Hanover County, and we'll have all the highlights for you next week right here on Sports Roundtable. Good night, everybody.